Have some big projects I want to work on, including that new collection. So we, just as a recap, we've been talking about the setting goals for 2020, and I've been loosely following this Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt, and in that, setting a goal for each area of my life. So he calls those domains. So we have talked about spiritual, intellectual, emotional, physical, relationship goals, parent goals, social goals, career goals. And today is, we're going to talk about the avocational goals. I consider them a hobby, or something that you're passionate about, makes your heart happy. So those goals can range so many things. You know, if golf is your thing, make time to play golf. If reading is your thing, you know I put my reading goal is education, but you know, maybe it's fiction reading or whatever. You know, make time to do that. For me, obviously I love photography, and part of the challenge with doing what you love as a business is that it's easy to get caught up in the business part. And I know I've heard a lot of people talk about, once they try to spend more time doing what they love, and maybe doing it for a job, that they kind of lose that love, or it becomes more like a job than a hobby or something that they're passionate about. So for me, I did notice, you know, there's a big difference between the photography side and the business side. And when you have a small business, it's kind of all you have to do all the parts. And it's easy to get a little bogged down with the parts that are, you know, the business parts, or the other parts that may not be the part of your passion. So what I decided to do was, I noticed I took plenty of pictures last year, but more often when I was on a trip, or when I had, you know, I didn't create those opportunities. I kind of went on trips, and while I was on trips, I took a lot of pictures, but I just didn't get out to go just for the purpose of taking pictures, or just taking pictures just to be fun as much. So what I decided to do was to participate in a photo of the day challenge, just on my personal Instagram page. I've been trying to post those. Also, just to give myself a break, I'm not going to beat myself up if I miss a day or two, but I don't want to give myself an excuse to miss a lot of days. So I set, instead of saying I'm going to post every day, I kind of was thinking, okay, I want to do it 90% of the time. I want to do it 100% of the time, but I want to allow myself to, you know, I want it to be fun. If I'm at the end of the day going, oh, like last night, you know, yesterday was, there's just a lot going on, and, you know, I was really tired when I got home, and I didn't want to, you know, it didn't feel fun at that point. It wasn't, you know, it was more of a chore than something that I love. So knowing that I get like that, and that I have days like that, I'm very hesitant, I think, to put in something that I'm going to do every day. I mean, even my go-tos, you know, writing my journal and reading with my breakfast is pretty much, that is my routine. But once in a while, something happens, and my routine is out of whack, and I want that to be okay also. So I was thinking, you know, so that's where 90%, if I can hit it 90% of the time, I'll be happy. So yesterday was the first day I'd missed of the year, and that was okay. So instead of setting it more like a habit goal, I set it as an accomplishment goal, where, you know, I want to post 325 photos to my personal Instagram account, and my thought is using those photo of the day prompts as inspiration. So that way, you know, that's a realistic goal. It takes into consideration, you know, that life happens, and it's probably not going to happen every day, but it also gives me something, it motivates me. And I really like using the photo of the day prompts, because it's helps me look at things in a different way, helps me kind of look for different things throughout the day. So, I try to pull it up every day in the morning and see what it is and see what inspires me. Sometimes I have photos that I just took recently that I was like, oh, this reminds me of this, and I can use that. And other times it's like, oh, I'm going to take the time and play and create a photo, or create an opportunity or create a situation where I can go take a photo so I can share it on that prompt. So, but it's more about having fun. It's more about playing with my camera and just keeping that creative side going, because that's what makes me happy. That's my passion. So that's where this goal fits in. So, I also love to dance. So, it would be a great goal to take private lessons, or, something that develop my skill in that area to make it even more fun. So there's as many different interests as there are in people. Everybody has their own different interests, so there's that many different goals that you could choose for this. And it can be, I want to do it, I want to do this one specific thing at this one time. I want to accomplish this one, one specific goal. So for me, I want to hit a certain number, or it could be, I want to have a weekly habit of doing whatever it is that makes me happy. I want to do that every week. So, or every month, or every day, or, whatever works for you. But it's just more that you're taking that time to develop, to make your heart happy. We're not, I think too many people get caught up in the live to work instead of the work to live. We're here to experience joy, and so it's important to not get caught up in we still have to do all the things that need to be done. We have to be responsible grown-ups and, pay our bills and meet our responsibilities. But it's also important that we take time to nurture ourselves and develop those passions that we have, and to build on them. And it's kind of a way to relax our bowstrings, or relax ourselves, so we can go back and do all the things that we need to do. This is something, these types of activities are normally ones that give us energy instead of take away energy. And, sometimes, the other things they can take energy away. I mean, if you have a business or a job, or, family with children are awesome, but they can require a lot of energy. And sometimes at the end of the day, I know I had plenty of days where I felt like I didn't have anything left to give, and it's hard to feel the other day, yeah, that was such a great day. That was such a, I accomplished so much. I gave these children things that will help them throughout their life, which that happens, but just sometimes it's overwhelming and draining to get to the end of the day, that it's hard to tell that, you can't see what happened that one day. It's kind of over the long run, over years and years and years. You and your children can kind of see what was put into that relationship, and how all of those hard days added up to something that was wonderful. And you can see the gift there, and the results of your hard work. But can be very hard to see on a day-to-day basis. I mean, there's good days where you're like, yes, this is what it's for. And then there's other days it's like, why did I do this? So, but we all have those things, whether it's being a parent, whether it's, just housekeeping and paying the bills, and all those kind of more mundane things, and you do them, wash dishes, and 10 minutes later, there's more dishes to wash. It just doesn't feel like a very big accomplishment, because it just needs to be done again. You pay the bills, and the next day more bills come in the mail or whatever. So it's this is where we feed our heart, and we make sure we take that time to keep us happy and keep us motivated to look for the good things in life, and to continue down our path. What else do I have? So any kind of project or class, or just spending time doing the things that you love. This is a great way to utilize this goal. And yesterday I did talk about when we have a goal, it doesn't always have to be, it starts on January 1st. It can be a habit goal, and it can be, the goals just don't have to be from January 1st to December 31st. This is what we do. And they can start whenever, so that's why I think New Year's is a great time, because you have a blank slate, but it's good to go back. I think it's good to revisit them every month or every week, every day, just kind of, and break it down into smaller chunks. But, sometimes it's cool to have a goal. Okay, in June, I want to start this thing, and, and I want to do, and I expect it to be done, whenever. It's also cool to say, okay, I want to set a habit, and I want to do this every day or every month or every week or whatever. But it's also important to track it. If you just set the goal and don't think about it again, or don't, I know I said before, I would set the goal and, I'd look at them for a while, and then they kind of, life would happen, and then the next thing I know, it's the end of the year, and I look back at my goals, and I met some of them, and, kind of forgot about some of them, and it's really hard to be successful at something you're not thinking about. So it's good to have a way to track it. So for my habit goals, for this one, I keep a bullet journal, and so I have the month in there, and I have a few things that I want to make sure that I'm tracking, or that I'm trying to do on a daily basis, or mostly daily basis. So I just have a code. So like if I want to track my photo of a day, put a P on the calendar date. So every day that I do my photo of the day, I just put a P on the calendar, and that's my tracking system. Other things I might track is, if I exercise, or if I eat my vegetables, those types of things that I try to work on. I have a little code that, each letter is representing, each thing is represented by a letter, and I just jot it down at in the box of the date. And, so it's a little box. So I try to also make sure that I'm not trying to track too many things. I try to keep it reasonable, normally 3 or 4. And then also by doing that, it reminds me to go back and make sure I'm looking at everything. Am I just kind of doing my thing without really having without thinking about what I wanted to get done today, or, if I just kind of, I notice I'm not very productive, and life just kind of goes on, and all of a sudden the day's gone, and I'm like, what do I have to show for it? So by checking every day and tracking, some people like to put in a little tracker. So it would just be a little grid, and they cross off or highlight or color in every day that they were successful. And that's another really great tool. So whichever tool works the best for you, it's all about that goal serving you, not you serving the goal. But it is important to, to track the things that you want to succeed at. I know there's a really cool saying, and of course I can't think of it right now, but basically, if you're not tracking it, you're not going to need it. You're not paying attention to it. So you measure the things that you want to succeed in, something like that. So, I know we talked a little bit about, there's a goal that, ta-da, I hit that point, I achieved it, and then there's a goal of, I worked on this for this many days or this many weeks, and it's more of building that habit. So both of those are helpful goals, and it's good to have a combination of the two when you are setting your goals. And again, we do this at New Year's, around the new year. It's just kind of a tradition. It is that blank slate. You have a brand new calendar, and everything lies ahead. But it's not limited to January 1st. I'm here. This is the 20th, and we're still, I'm still kind of fine tuning and making sure I've got everything lined up the way that I want to. And if any of us wanted to start this in February or March, or I know another time is the beginning of the school year. For if you have kids, that's a great time to go, okay, here's our goals for the school year. When my kids were little, we wasn't necessarily a goal, but we would set, we would do bucket lists. So it's like, okay, here's our summer bucket list, and these are things that we want to do, or ideas of things that we can do for the summer. We would do one for the fall or whatever. And sometimes we had a little bucket that we literally would put all of our ideas in and put it in the bucket, and when we did it, we would pull them out and display them and take them on the wall or whatever. But so again, it just goes back to whatever works for you and what timeline. So maybe you don't want to look at a year, maybe you want to look at a month or a season or a quarter or a school year. Make those goals fit your life, and focus on a way that can help you make the progress that you would like to make. So those are my thoughts today. Tomorrow we do talk about the last area of our lives to set goals in. So I will be back tomorrow, probably a little earlier today, probably more around 8 o'clock Mountain Time. And we will go from there. Please like the page, like the post, if you like the video, leave a comment, share what your hobbies are and what you would like to do more of this year in that realm of your life. And as always, if you head over to Pinterest News Shop on Etsy, it's a great way to get some, bring in some of that motivation to your own house or your own, put on your desk at work, and just have something to be able to look at and set those, just kind of remind you of where you want to go in your life. And that is what art can do for us. And I really encourage you to have some kind of inspiration that you surround yourself with. So again, so those are at Pinterest Muse. If you like favorite the shop, you can always, I think Etsy kind of gives you alerts. We do have an email list, so you can be the first to know what's going on in the shop and when that new collection is live, and all of those good things. So I hope to hear from you soon. And until then, I will see you tomorrow, and you take care of you. Thanks.